Hello, for June 26, 2020, this is Mayor Mike Inman from Macomb City Hall, bringing you the latest update on the COVID-19 pandemic here in Macomb and McDonough County. Relative bit of good news to report today. First of all, no new cases reported no confirmed new cases in McDonough County for 14 days in a row here. We think that's really good news. And the other bit of good news, of the 101 cases that were on record for the city and the county here, all but just a very small handful of those are reporting recoveries. So that's good news as well. And again, we also know that several families have been impacted by the loss of loved ones over the last several months. We continue to think about them and keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Moving forward, the health department, as we move into phase 4 today, you should have seen some changes around the community. Among them would be the local theater would be able to open with some capacity restrictions. Restaurants, open indoor dining, now available again with some capacity restrictions, but by and large, the combination of those that have elected to avail themselves of the outdoor component along with the indoor component now should be at close to their normal seating capacity, maybe in some cases slightly more. So we're grateful that those businesses took advantage of that, and that the rest of those that did not now have the opportunity to serve folks inside those businesses. One thing that the health department wants us to make very clear is that as we enter phase 4, it is extremely important that we continue to practice safe distancing and the use of face coverings. I'm a little concerned, as well as the health department, about other states around the country seeing dramatic surges in cases. In some cases, or in some instances, cases are exceeding their record-breaking number of cases are being reported on a daily basis. The one thing that we still have a bit of control over as far as this virus is continuing to wash our hands frequently, using hand sanitizer when soap and water is not available, social distancing when indoors, and please, if you're under the impression that masks and all that are out the door now, that is just absolutely not the case. It is probably just as important as ever, as we get more flexible in what we can do, that we remind ourselves of what very limited resources we have to control the virus that is still in the community. Even though we're getting no cases reported, we'll go into the fact that the hospital is still testing or has a testing component. We just have to remember that those things that we're anxious to be rid of, I get that. But we still must wear face coverings when appropriate and social distance. And a lot of these activities still have restrictions on, for example, recreational activities. Even though they're allowed to compete, the number of spectators is greatly reduced. And those guidelines, for your information, are available on the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities webpage under guidelines. There's general guidelines for all sorts of activities. We've shared that generously throughout the community with the business and industry and manufacturing communities. They're aware of it. But if you want to have a better idea of what those restrictions are, please take an opportunity to, we'll get that up on the bottom of your screen here on how you can get a copy of that online. Again, face masks, social distancing, hand washing, keys as we move into phase 4. For example, many of you may have heard in the news reports today that the governors in the state of Florida and the state of Texas have now issued orders closing, for example, bars in those states due to the rampant uptick of cases being reported in the states of Florida and Texas. That's one thing we definitely don't want to do, is have to take a step backward. Just as we're going into phase 4, we want to make sure that we continue our progress, and all of the things we're doing are keeping in the back of our mind the safety aspects of moving forward. And again, very simply, hand washing, social distancing, and the covering of your face when in public. Speaking of testing, the MDH drive-through testing component is still available, and they would ask you to make contact with the nurse hotline to coordinate going out and getting in that queue. The hours of operation for the drive-through testing are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. That information's on your screen. We'll also be showing here the information for the MDH hotline as well. Some things to look forward to in the community this weekend. The Macomb Park District, under the guidance and direction of Miss Rachel Lenz, is having a drive-in movie this evening that will start around 8 o'clock. Or the doors will open around 8 o'clock at Veterans Park, and they have incorporated social distancing in their layout of the drive-in theater, so to speak. We are running the risk of some severe weather late tonight and into tomorrow, so keep your eye on the sky for that. And then one other bit of information we pass along to you is that there has been a confirmed date for the citywide cleanup, and that is the week of August 10th. So on your normal trash day during the week of August 10th, you'll be able to put out the normal complement with some restrictions of your accumulated items that you've been waiting for the opportunity to dispose of at the curbside. And then there would be an additional pickup in the northwest quadrant the following Monday. But there'll be plenty of reminders between now and then on that date and the allowable items to be picked up. Speaking of testing, again, just for a moment, the state of Illinois reported earlier today that a total of 1.5 million tests have been conducted by the state, over 30,000 of those in the last 24 hours. And the total positivity rating for the state of Illinois sat at 3% for the week ending June 25th. So again, those are all indications that we're in good shape. The one thing we absolutely want to try our best at doing is keeping forward progress and still keeping the very best, as very best we can, this virus mitigated to the best of our abilities. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the fact that we're moving forward into phase 4 of the Restore Illinois plan, and until we meet again, thank you.